talking with Chloe today, who is going to bring a wealth of knowledge for you guys to get to know how you can actually create some awesome storytelling in your marketing, which we all know is what truly makes the brand stand out and memorable, not only in social media, but within your entire marketing strategy. So I'm going to pass it on over to Chloe here to describe a little bit about who she is, what she does, and then we'll dive into some fun questions. So Chloe, take it away.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chloe Edwards. I am the Chief Empowering Officer for Pineapple Mindset. This is an organization that helps adoptees cultivate self-confidence to become a leader within their own lives. And so Pineapple Mindset, it's based off of 3 pillars. 1, having self-confidence, believing in yourself. 2 is building a community around you that you feel is supportive and as well as something that you can just lean on. And then last is learning about the power and the impact that vulnerability can have.
Ooh, I love that so much. Not seeing vulnerability as something that's kind of holding you back, but as something that you can actually open up and use to genuinely connect with people and to get your story to resonate with people even more. Like what comes to mind is people like Oprah. She's created an entire sort of empire out of being vulnerable and sharing her story. So I would love to hear some of your tips for how to use this vulnerability and kind of weave it into your marketing messages.
Absolutely. So I work on my messaging based off of just telling my own story and like what my feelings are that day, or the overall message I want to share for that month. So usually when I do my social media strategy, I first base it off of, well, what is the impact that I want to make this week? So is that either pushing a product? So I have an online course that's called Lost to Leader. Is my goal to subscribe someone that week, or is it more just to gain the no trust, oh my goodness, no trust and
Like,
oh my God, goodness factor. Thank you. Oofda. And so with that, then I look at a photo or something that's going to inspire me. And then honestly, I just start sharing my story and that feeling that day. It could be from a past story, something that impacted me, or something that's honestly hit me that day.
I love that so much, not overcomplicating it and realizing kind of the boring stuff can actually help you connect with followers because it's not every day that we go and like climb Mount Everest or something. So if you're only sharing your stories that are kind of these spots of like, oh, wow, and like what a cool moment, it's not going to resonate as well as those kind of things that happen on your daily basis. So paying attention to what's going on in life and then weaving your story into that can actually make the message resonate so much more. So I think that is such a cool tip. So when you actually share these stories, what do you find is a great way to hook people in? Like, how do you craft it, either if it's in a social media update or within like a newsletter or something? How do you make sure that you're getting kind of to the point and hooking people in so they want to go further and read your whole story and get that golden nugget of value at the end?
Absolutely. Well, honestly, I feel like imagery really attaches to people's heartstrings right in the beginning. So I do push having good photos and content. I create different quotes and quote pulls from Canva and whatnot. And then honestly, I just take photos that maybe someone else took of me or whatever, and then edit it a little bit just to, capture someone's attention. And then once I have that, sometimes I open up my first piece of content with a question of, have you felt this before? Have you been here? Or I just dive right in of, this is what I'm feeling today. And it could be something really great, or it's just being very vulnerable and honest of, I'm having a really hard day today, and this is what I'm feeling.
Yeah, I like that tip of asking questions a lot because if you can get someone to nod along and say, oh, yeah, I feel that too, it's more likely that they'll be able to continue reading and say yes. So I think that's such a cool tip there. And imagery in itself, I feel like, is something that is underutilized on social media because our brains process images so much faster than words. So getting that marriage between like a really emotionally grabbing image and then being able to explain it can really help hook people in. But not being a graphic designer, a lot of times people kind of shy away from producing their own branded images and stuff like that. So within Canva, do you have any kind of tips for how you actually make sure that your brand colors and everything stays on point, even if you're not a graphic designer, and how you can create that as perhaps a solo marketer who's trying to do it all?
Absolutely. I am no graphic designer. I've tried learning on, Photoshop and InDesign. But really, when I decided to launch my own business, I wanted to make something that I can handle, I wouldn't get stressed about. So that's why I did choose Canva. And I have the free version. And with the free version, you can actually set 3 brand colors. And so not download it, but just like shows the 3 brand colors in my settings. So immediately, if I need a font or change some type of graphic in it, and I want to make sure it's on my brand, it's already there. And then I also upload my logo as well, just some other main images in my upload files. And it's super simple. And once I created a template, I just edit it like a little bit at a time. So I change a word or I change the exact phrase I'm trying to push that day. But once you have a template that you like, then it's super easy to start recreating, and you just copy that image and you can do another one, copy it again and make another one. And then I download about like 10 quotes every other week. And so I have the content ready to go. So it's something that I'm not worrying about every single day.
Yeah, that's really smart, not reinventing the wheel every time, but having these systems to save you time that you can just go in there, know you've already done the work, and to lay that groundwork and use that, I think is a huge way that you can kind of get over that resistance to creating images, is know that you've already got it there for you. So that's pretty cool. So when it comes to growing your network and growing brand awareness, specifically on social media, do you have any kind of go-to systems that you use, like how you curate what types of posts you're sharing when, and just how you've set up as a business owner who went from nothing to growing a successful company, kind of some tips and tricks that you've used over the years?
Yes. Okay. So one of them is I wanted to make my Instagram feed be visually appealing. I wanted when someone goes to my feed, know exactly what's going to be there, and also just feel comfortable looking at it. I feel like sometimes when it's visually appealing, it's like, it's okay.
Yeah, sure.
So I have changed my patterns a bit, and now I've really stuck to photo versus pull quote, photo, pull quote, photo, pull quote. And then also to make it look aesthetically pleasing, I use an app called Airbrush, where every image that I use after it's edited, I put a similar filter over it. So even though the photo is, it has more green in it or has more this, and it's like not done by the same photographer or something, overall the aesthetic can be the same with that same filter. And then every Sunday, I just take the time to pull in what social media posts I want to do that week. And so I write it all out. And then of course, if there's something organic that I feel like I really need to share that day, then I mix it up. But just in case I'm really busy that week, that's something I can just copy and paste and put it in. So that's been really helpful. And then also just when I'm on my social media feed is looking at, I don't like to call them competitors, but people in my industry, and pull out things that they're doing really well that I want to also implement. So maybe pushing in a certain hashtag that I seem is really successful, or looking at some other quotes that they're pulling from other places. And so really taking about, I don't know, like 30 minutes every other day just to look through popular hashtags that I follow as well as other people in my industry.
Oh, I think that's so smart, gaining inspiration from inside and outside of your industry, because the patterns are there on social media. There are signals all around telling you what type of content is working and what's not. So if you're a small team or if you're a solopreneur and you feel like you don't have the capabilities to research what your ideal audience wants, jump into other brands' Facebook groups, jump into their Instagram and see which of the posts are getting the most engagement, because those are signals. That's content that people want. Then take that back to your own brand and put your own unique spin on it. And it's a great way to make sure you're producing the content that's answering questions people have and connecting in the way that they want. So I love that tip so much. So when it comes to actually getting engagement on your posts and getting people to open up and tell their story, I know a lot of it goes into what you were saying of being vulnerable first, almost giving people permission to then share their story back. But when you're paying attention to engagement and stuff, what kind of metrics and analytics on social media do you pay attention in order to kind of let yourself know what posts on your own page are doing the best?
Well, one, I made sure that my Instagram feed was a business profile, so I can go check and see, looking at all my posts during a certain time frame, which one had the most engagement. But I know a lot of people focus on likes, but what I really focus on, because my topic is more a little bit more sensitive and a little bit more deep with when it comes with adoption and people that are dealing with certain traumas. I actually really focus on comments and when people are taking the time to answer a question and they resonate with the story that I shared, or they tell me that they saw this post and they DM me from that. So really personalized engagement. And honestly, it can be one comment, but then I know like, wow, someone really hit, like it hit home for them. And that is my only goal during this entire business, is that I'm helping just one person. I don't need to talk to the masses because I do have a very niche message, but that's the only reason why I started, because I wanted to help people. And if that's one person, phenomenal. That's just making my day.
Oh man, what a powerful mindset to have. And it's a memory too of, it's making me remember things too. Like if one person comments on it and resonates, there's likely 20 others who just didn't take the time to comment. So using those sort of ways of saying, okay, look, I only got one comment, but other people out there are gaining value, to keep you going and to keep you consistent with your messaging, because it can be kind of lonely just seeing a computer screen out there. So reminding yourself, if you helped one person that day, that's huge, because that's one life that you've changed the state of. So I think that's a really inspiring way that you can kind of look at analytics and numbers that can sometimes be a little bit boring to analyze, and take it to a more human level. So that's really great. So are there any other sort of storytelling and marketing techniques that you can just leave our community with, that over your experience you have found that really just are non-negotiables in sort of the way that you're crafting a story into your marketing messages?
Absolutely. My biggest tip when people ask me is just don't overthink it. Really focus on, why did you start this social media channel, or why did you start this business, or just really stick to that, focus on it. And honestly, a message will just kind of come up, because it's like talking to a friend. If you're forcing something, your audience is going to know. And every single time, like the more I'm vulnerable, the more that I just let it out, I didn't plan this post whatsoever, that ends up being the most engaged post, because you can feel it inside that I'm not trying to sell you anything. It's that you trust that I'm telling you the truth, and then you want to engage with me more. It's just, I don't know, it's just human nature. So that's the biggest tip. Is I know that there's an Instagram and Facebook and social media algorithm, but if you focus on that the entire time, you're not going to get your message and your brand out the way that you want to. So truly just go back to your purpose and your mission statement.
Oh man, that is such good advice. Your community is going to be your biggest algorithm buster ever if they're connecting with you authentically. Because like you said, no one goes to social media to be sold to. They go there to connect with friends and family. So make sure your posts are showing up in that fashion to have that authentic connection. And I know authenticity is such a buzzword out there these days, but I love the way that you described it as just being like, I'm a real person who's showing up in real time, and that's what people can tell is going to add the most value to their day. So that's really great. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of these great storytelling tips. And I would love for you, MeetEdgar community, to give this video a like and to go ahead and let us know in the comments what resonated with you the most and how you're going to actually take these storytelling tips into your own marketing plan. Thanks so much for all the advice today, Chloe.
Of course. Thank you for having me.